To be honest, pretty nervous. Hey guys, this is Salman Seth and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to teach you the basic of Premiere Pro. It's a long video. It's going to be a course on the entire Premiere Pro. Just to let you know that this video is for the beginners. It's for the one who never used Premiere Pro for video editing, or someone who's learning Premiere Pro. So this is totally a beginner's course. So if you are using Premiere Pro for a while, this might not be the video for you. But if you are someone who just started with video editing or Premiere Pro, this is the video for you. I will also put the timestamp in the description below. So if you plan to learn something specific, if you want to watch a video about something specific in Premiere Pro, you can just go down in the description and click on the link. Okay, without wasting your time, let's get in to Premiere Pro. So to get started with Premiere Pro, first thing you need is a Premiere Pro. So I already have my Premiere Pro open. Your Premiere Pro might look different. You don't have this recent project because you're new. I'm not new. Okay, let's start with the first thing, like how to create a project in Premiere Pro. So first thing you see in 2023, you'll see this option says new project. You click on new project and here you will be shown this new overwhelming window, but don't worry about it, we'll work on that. Let's first name it. So in the project name here on the left top corner, you'll see you can name your project. So I'm going to name it Teach Premiere Pro. Okay, just for basic. Now here in the project location next to the name, you can see where do you want to save this project. It is very important to know where you're saving the project, otherwise it will go on a default area and it is hard to find sometimes. So it's always recommended by anyone that you save your project where you want to save it. For this purpose, for this tutorial or training purpose, I'm going to save it on desktop. So let's go and select it. So click on this drop down arrow, choose location. And then if you're using Mac, you can have this easy simple window, but if you're using PC, you'll have a similar option. Click on desktop and I have this basic Premiere Pro folder created. If you don't have a folder created already, you can create a new folder from this bottom left corner, but I already have it, so I'm going to select here. But inside this, I'm going to create a folder because I like to keep the project file in a folder. So I'm going to create P new folder and I usually name it PP, which stands for Premiere Pro. And I'm going to click create, choose and hit create. Don't worry about selecting anything from here now. I will teach you the better way to do this. So let's go and hit create. Now you have this Premiere Pro created and this might look a little bit different your windows for now, because if you see on the top here, the right top, I'm using 3-screen setup and so I have to change it. So I'm going to go to editing tab. So this is the editing tab, you will see like that, and it's pretty empty. Before that, let me just minimize it and show you why I created that folder first place, so that you should know what's happening here. Okay, so I'm gonna minimize it, and on my desktop you see this is the folder. I'm gonna double click and you can see this is the folder I created when I was creating the project. And if I open it, you can see there is a Premiere Pro project extension, PRP ROJ. It's a Premiere Pro project extension. Do not delete this. This is where everything is happening. Okay, now minimize this again. Gonna go back to Premiere Pro. This is a Premiere Pro. Now Premiere Pro is sometimes it's a very complicated software. It looks like a lot of work, but once you know the Premiere Pro, it's very easy and very friendly. So don't get intimidated or don't get scared of the software. Okay, and it has a lot of good keyboard shortcuts and everything. You can literally customize the entire Premiere Pro the way you want it. So I really like Premiere Pro. Let's come here and understand how Premiere Pro looks like. So Premiere Pro is divided into 4 windows on the basic editing. You have this preview video, number 1, I call it L1. Then you have a L2. This is where you import all the footage or the medias and everything. You see it says import media to start. Then you have a preview while editing, which is R1, and this is R2. This is a timeline. This is where all the magic you do, all the editing happens here. And we will walk through this and I'll explain you how it works. Okay, so preview, L1 preview, L2 import, R1 preview of the magic, all the editing, and R2 where you edit. Okay, and you can always adjust the size of any window. For example, if I want this one smaller, I have to select on that, and there is this blue line. I just drag it and make it smaller, so this is big. And we will learn about that in as we move forward. So let's go ahead and first import the file in this video. And in Premiere Pro, there are at least 3 different ways you can import the file, and I'll teach you the first one, the basic one. When you just double click here, it will open a window for you and it will ask you which video you want to import it. You can select your place where you want to import. So let's say I'm in Nashville folder right now and I want to import one of my videos. It's this one, and I will just select this one and I click import. And now this is how my video has been imported. You can see the preview here. So if I want to import the other way to import is I go to file and there is an option says import. I click import and it opens up. Now this time I'm going to select a different folder. So I'm going to go on desktop, my basic of Premiere Pro folder, and here I have some more videos. I'm going to select, let's say, these 3, and I can just click import. Now I have 4 videos total, 1 first and then 3. The third way to import a video in Premiere Pro is just go to your folder wherever you have your everything. Let's say I have it in desktop, and let's find that folder, Premiere Pro basic of Premiere Pro, and I want this video. All I have to do is just drag and drop it into it. So there are 3 different ways, as I said, in Premiere Pro to import your videos. Now once you import the video, you can preview all these videos. As I said, the L1 part is where you can preview these videos. You can like hover here and see in a smaller thumbnail, but if you want to see it in a bigger, you just double click and it will open here. And this blue bar here, you can see this is called playhead. It's basically wherever it is on your timeline or on your video, that particular frame you're going to see. So let's take it back to all the way to the beginning, and then I have this play button in the middle, play and pause or play and stop. So I click on that and it will play for me. So this is how I see my video, the video I import in Premiere Pro. Okay. Now this window looks similar to this R1 window, and I'll explain you that also later. Let's come back here first to this part, the preview. In the preview part, I also have this right next to, like outside of play and pause, you have this tiny arrow left and right. They are for 1 frame left or 1 frame right. So if I click on this, 1 frame left, it's going 1 frame left every time I'm clicking, and likewise every time I'm clicking 1 frame forward, it's going in the time. The arrows outside of that with the bracket, it's go all the way to the first frame of the clip, that particular clip. So if I click on that, it's go all the way to the beginning of the clip, and if I click on the last one, the go out, the arrow with the bracket, it will go all the way to the last frame. Okay, this is how it works here. So you have a L1 to preview, L2 is to import all your files. You can import anything. You can also import music. So let's say if I want to import a music in my file, I'm gonna go same way. I'm gonna click on music wherever I saved it. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna go to Storyblock. I have a lot of free music from Storyblock, so you can use it from there. So let's go here. Let's just drag and drop this one. So I have a music here, minimize it. And if I double click it, and I can play the music. So that's how it plays. Now you have imported the file you wanted. Let's say you imported the videos, you imported the music. Now how do you create the video? Like how do you merge those video and create a one solid, good looking, amazing piece of art? So now let's do that. So first thing you have to do is create a sequence. Sequence will come on your timeline. So think about sequence as, let's say you go to a shopping market and you brought all this material. Consider each video, music and clips and everything is all the stuff you bought it from the market to cook. Okay, you brought like onion, tomatoes, chicken and rice and everything. Now you have to cook it, right? So consider sequence is like a cooking pot in which you're going to put everything. Wow, I'm a good cook as well. But you got the idea. So that's why we have to create that cooking part now, like a sequence it's called. So let's go ahead and create that too. To create it, again, there are two ways. One, at the bottom of the L2 window, you can see this tiny half cut square thing, and it says new item. Click on that, and it says on the first option, it says sequence. You're going to click on sequence, and then here it is. So For the YouTube purpose and for the basic editing purpose, I always recommend to use DSLR, digital SLR, and keep the quality 1080p. That's 1080 frames per pixels in the frame. And most standard in America is, or in most of the TV channel, is 24 frames per second. It gives you more cinematic look, and most human eye natural look is 30 frames per second. So for this video purpose, let's go with the 30 frames per second, most standard, and the worldly selected one. Okay, just you don't have to do anything else, but you do have to name your sequence. So that, let's name your dish, you know, like a cooking pot dish. So we're gonna name it. So I'm going to name it, let's say, first editing tutorial. Okay, you can name it anything you like it, and you click OK. And now you see this window, the R2 suddenly had something. Before that there was nothing. Like if I go Control Z, like before that it was empty like that. Now right as soon as I created my sequence, and it has this thing open here. So this is where all the magic you're going to do. One quick note here on this L2 part is to remember what is your sequence. Okay, the sequence has a symbol like this, very tiny symbol of the editing symbol. If it's a video, it has a symbol of video and audio. You can see this. This is, if it's a video with the audio, you have the symbol of audio here. You can see in the tiny, so it tells you like if it has an audio or not. Okay, just the audio, you can see the symbol. There is nothing preview. That is one way of creating a sequence in your timeline. The other way to create a sequence is, let me go back here one step. You know what? Let me just, so the other way, I have this sequence created here. I'm going to use it later. The other way to create a sequence in Premiere Pro is simple. It just drag any file you want it and drop it into your timeline. Now it will create a sequence for you, but the only thing is it will create a sequence using this footage as the reference. So if this video has a 60 frame per second, and if it has a only 720p as the resolution, it will start with that. Or if it has a 4K resolution, then the sequence will be a 4K resolution. If those are difficult and technical terms for you, write in the comments and I will do my best to explain you in another video and make sure that you understand how these things work. The sequence also come with the name of that clip. So the clip I select was sample for color correction. You can see that the sequence is created, another one. You can see with this symbol that this is a sequence with the sample for color correction. So as I said, it will take the reference of that first video you're going to drag and drop it. It is good if you know that all your videos are same file and you just drag and drop it. But if you film in a different frame rate, and if you film in a different resolution, and if you want one standard one and you want to pick that, it's better you create your own sequence however you like it. Sounds good? So I'm gonna close this one because I don't want this one to work with. So I'm gonna work with the first one, first editing tutorial, double click. Now let's come here and understand this R2 window a little bit before we go to R1. Okay, so R2 it is like your container. It's where you're going to cook everything. In R2 you have this channel V1, V2, V3. That is for the video file or visual file. Anything visual you're going to put, it's going to be here, and this is the layer. And you can create, by default you get 3 layers, 1, 2 and 3, but you can create as many as you want by just right clicking anywhere, and it says add tracks. You click on that, and on the top it says how many video tracks you want. Let's say I want 10 video tracks, and after 3, yes, and you can select whatever one you want it, and then it will ask you, do you want audio track, how many you want it, and let's say I want 5 audio track. So let's click OK, and now you see this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if I slow it down, then I get 7, 8, 9, 10, and then let's bring this one a little bit down. I can see 11, 12, 13, 14 and 13. So I had 3 and I created 10, so makes it 13. Now let's come back here again. So V stands for visual, and then at the below there is this double line, the thick line. Below that it's A, that is for audio. Any audio you're going to add into your editing in your final video, it's going to be placed here. Okay, so audio 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and as many as you want it, you can do that. Let's start with bringing our first video, which is again this sample drone video, and I'm gonna drag and drop it. The easiest way is just drag and drop it. So I drag and drop it here. It comes with the music. And how do I know it came with the music? Because you can see this is the audio channel, this is the video channel, okay? And usually they are linked together, and I will explain you how to unlink and edit them separate. But let's understand how it works. So remember I said L1 is like a preview for all the file you imported, like I double click and I preview here. Likewise, R1 is the preview of what I'm editing here. So if I double click here, it opens, and if I play, if I hit the play button, it will play here and it's showing me what it's looking like. Okay. Now if I want to add one more video after that, let's say I want to add another video after that, I bring it and I'm gonna play, and it's going. And it's playing. So this is how it looks, and basically this is what you're creating here. And when you export, you will export this part of this whole thing, the timeline. Okay, as in the L1 you have this play and pause button. R1 also has a play and pause button, one frame backward, one frame forward. Then I change it, you can always adjust however you want it. Then you have a first frame, the last frame, and many other tools which I will explain you later on in this class or probably later on. Let's understand one more thing here. In L1 and R1 you also have this options called fit. It's basically how you want to see that preview. So if I change that fit to 25%, it will zoom out my clip and it will show me at 25% of the frame of the output. So fit is best because it's going to fit the screen. Same here, fit is best. If you want it 50%, it's going to zoom out 50%, 20%, it's going to zoom out 75%. Why do we use this? Because if you are editing something, creating and painting on those things, so you want it like a closer look, so you go 200% and then you can like drag it and you can see the area a little bit close by. So if you want to do that, that's it. After that, there is also this tiny 1/4. It's the number here, 1 divided by 4. It also has a 1/4 here. They are similar. This is the quality in which you want to preview your video. It is not the actual quality of your video, but it's the way it's previewing, it's showing you. And this is done because if you have a slow computer, if your computer is not very powerful enough to hold all the 4K, 8K file, I mean like some of the old computer cannot hold 1080p file. So what you could do is preview in a low resolution. So it's going to show you in a low resolution, but when you exporting, you can export in a highest quality. So it's just the way to save GPU power, okay, and make the computer work faster. You can select the full. If you select the full, it's going to show you in the full resolution, and the video quality would look different if you see full, and this is the half, like a quarter. You see how blurry it is looking, but my video quality is not blurry. Same you have it here as well. You have a full resolution. If I play in full resolution, you see it is looking different than if I play in a 1/4 resolution. It's playing like a little bit blurry, doesn't show me the sharpness in my image. So I usually keep the lowest 1/4. If you have a 4K and 8K file, it gives you 1/8 and 1/16 of the lower resolution. Okay, every now and then when you are editing a video, make sure you hit Control S on PC or Command S on Mac to save your project. Otherwise, sometime the one drawback of Premiere Pro is sometimes if your computer is slow, Premiere Pro crashes and there is a chance you might lose the data or all the work you've been doing. And it had happened to me. Learn hard way, but I'm giving you this pro tip. Remember that. Okay, sounds good. Now let's understand how to trim and edit this video here. So now let's say I have this video. By the way, I can drag and drop in my video wherever I want it. Now let's say I have this video and I want to trim it. I don't want the entire video, so I'm playing here, it's playing, and I said, look, hold on, I want my video to start from here. So I go here on the side toolbar. You can see I have some tools here. The first one is a move tool, or also called a selection tool, which basically allow you to select and move anything you want it. Then we will go directly all the way to the razor tool, which helps you to cut anything you want it. So I'm going to pick that one, and now my move tool become like a blade, and I'm going to click on the area I want to cut it. So I click here and it cut it for me. Then I'm gonna play again, play, and stop here. And I wanted my video to end here, this clip actually. So I'm gonna cut here. Now I have these two tools, and I can go back and select my move tool, or the shortcut I can press V, like V as a V key, and then I select this clip, I hit delete button, then I select this clip, I hit delete button. Now I have my selected area cut in my video. Now I can drag this one all the way to the beginning. So why do I have to keep it all the way to the beginning? Because I have to do it from the beginning. If I don't, then my video will start from a black area because there is nothing, and my timeline would assume that I'm purposely using it. So I don't want to do that. If I want to start my video from a visual, I have to make the visual all the way in the beginning. Okay, now I have this here. Go to the beginning. Okay, now how do you know where my timeline is? So basically you see here there is a blue time, the 000000. This is the first 20 stands for hours, second 20 stands for minute, third 20 stands for second, and the fourth 20 stands for, guess what? Frame. So videos are bunch of frames. Videos are like a bunch of photos in a sequence, taken in a sequence, and when you play it, they look like, they create this motion, the illusion of motion. That's why they are just videos are just moving picture in simple word. They are just pictures played in a way to create that illusion. So nothing big. So if I play my playhead and this tell me the location of my playhead. At this moment, my playhead, which is this blue line, is at the 000 of everything, and once I start hitting playing, it will start moving in time forward. So come here, and now here my playhead is at 4 second 8 frame in my timeline. I will also see the similar time here, 4 second 8 second, 4 second 8 frame, and then I also have a time here on R2, sorry, on R1 on the right bottom corner here. So these two times are different. This time, the R1, the time on the left, is the time where my playhead is in the timeline. Okay, is like this, it matches. But this one is the time of my entire length of my last clip or last element I added. So the last element in this video is this video. So the last element in this project is this video. So if I bring my playhead all the way here to the last, or I can click here to make it to the last, this time 38:12 second will match with this one because that is the last frame of this video. This makes sense. So remember, like, your full length of the video will show here, and this will show you where your playhead is in your timeline, these two things. Okay, this is how it goes. Now we learn how to trim one way. The other way to trim your video, by the way, if you see how I'm doing this zoom in and zoom out, all I'm doing is just this belt at the bottom. If I drag it to the left, I can zoom in within my timeline to see the bigger picture, or I can zoom out to see the entire timeline, and that way. I like to keep it this. The other shortcut is Alt or Option on your keyboard and scroll it up and down to make it zoom in and zoom out. So I just do it. Okay, now we learn how to do this trimming by using the razor tool one time. The other way to trim your video is, let's say I'm playing my video from the beginning. Okay, and I said, that's it, stop here. Because I cannot use my razor tool all the time. It's kind of time consuming. Go here, click, cut, come back, put it back, and then delete. The best way I like it is to just go to the end of the clip or in the beginning of the clip, and just when you see this red arrow with the bracket pointing in one of the directions, you just drag it and it cropped. Let's say I want to crop this also till here. I just do the same thing, drag it, and then take the whole video here. Now, does it make sense? There you go. Now, anytime if I do something in my editing, if I did something and I feel like, oh, this is wrong, I made a mistake, what do? I can always undo my previous action. To do that, you just press Ctrl Z at Zebra or Command Z on Mac. Okay, Control Z or Command Z. So let's say if I press Control Z, you see how it's doing one step backward. And the more I want to go, the more I can go. And if I want to go one step forward, what I did, let's say I pressed Command Z and I'm like, no, I want to go back. What I did, you press Shift, Control Z or Shift, Command Z. So let's see. So I'm going to go back to where I was in the beginning. This is where I was. This was the last changes I made. Control S, Command S to save. Now let's play. This looks good, good. Now let's bring the other clip here next to it. Now I have this next clip here. Now, why you should always fill the gaps between this clip. You see there is this gap here. The gap is the empty area. You don't see anything. So you want to fill the gap always, unless you purposely want your video to have some kind of a blackout. Otherwise, always fill the gap. Don't leave the gaps empty. Now, as we understood how to make the video clip, trim it, make it shorter or longer or wherever we want it. Now let's understand more thing in this timeline. Okay, when timeline in Premiere Pro or most of the editing software works as like a layer system. If you ever use Photoshop, you know in Photoshop how you create layer over the layer over the layer. Likewise in Premiere Pro you have a layer after layer. So you can put more videos on top of it, but the higher the number, that video is going to play first. For example, let's say I have this video in layer 1, and if I bring another video in layer 2, which is on top of it, let's say bring it layer 2, and what will happen, you see I don't see the video below layer 1, and this is because this layer is on top of it. The visibility of this layer is pretty high, so I'm gonna get rid of that just for let you know. But just to let you know, this is how it works in Premiere Pro. So mostly you keep it everything in the same layer unless you want something on top of it and take a space or that thing. This is how it works. On the timeline you have this icon which says the eye. It basically hides what's visible. So I go back to the top layer, sorry, on top of it. Let's say I have this top layer on top and I'm not seeing my drone shot because this is taking the place, but I can hide this by clicking on this eye button, eye thing or eye icon. So now if I do that, I hide this. So the entire track is hidden now. I don't see anything. What's happening here? I always see the one below it, not on top of it. And if I unhide it, I'll see the top one. Does it make sense? So you can do that. And then you have this lock button. So sometime when you're editing and you want to lock it, you say I edit this timeline and I feel like this entire layer V1 is good. I don't want to make any changes, or I also don't want to damage it while I'm editing the top layer or any other thing. So you just lock it. So what will happen, you cannot make any changes. See, this thing is got locked. You have those zebra line that is locking it. There is this visibility layer. Make sure the layer you're working, this first side of number, there are two sides, like V1 here, V1 here. This means is the selected layer. This is the most selected layer you're working on. So your playhead by default will select this layer for any editing you want to do. You see that? And if I change that V1 to this V2, now you see my playhead is selecting this layer first. Does it make sense? These are like a common thing. A lot of time people don't understand, but this is how it works. Okay, this is, and I can do both if I want it, and then playhead will decide. I can decide whatever I want. Same here on this V is for when you drag and drop it, or when you copy and paste something. Where do you want it? You want it on second layer, third layer, fourth layer. You can select only one layer at a time on this one. Okay, now this is how all this thing works. Don't worry about this part at this moment. We will talk about that later, but for now just leave it there. Below in the audio you have more feature compared to the video. First you have this microphone thing. If you want to record your own voiceover in Premiere Pro while you are editing, so let me get rid of this video first again, and let's say on this video I want a voiceover, and I want a voiceover on the second layer. You remember this thing? So I don't want it on top of it, I want it here to start. So I'm gonna bring my playhead here and I say I want my voiceover to start from the beginning. So let's hit this button and see how it works. By the way, it will give you 3 seconds in the beginning to prepare yourself and have a good clean audio. So let's hit this and see how it goes. Hey, this is Salman Sayed and this is my drone shot and I'm teaching Premiere Pro today. Now when I hit the stop button, it will stop and you can see my audio would come here. Now, why my audio is not here? Because my output device is not selected in Premiere Pro at this moment, but you got the idea. This is how it's gonna come. So I can delete it because I don't want it. So I have this audio file here, the voiceover if I want to add. This is for the solo track. If I want to mute everything else and keep just one audio playing, this is for that. So sometimes you have hundreds of, not hundred, tens of audio, and if you want to just hear one audio track, like a one timeline, you just click on the solo, everything else goes muted. The next one is M stands for mute. So basically if you want to mute this entire track, you just click on that, the whole thing is going to go mute. Okay. Then again you have a lock option, and then again you have a A1 and A1 here for doing the same thing of selection going with. Okay, I can also zoom in and zoom out in this by pressing option key and scroll up and down to see more features, or I can just do it from here. You can see that. Okay, let's go zoom out. Don't worry about the other thing here. These are again extra level editing. For now we will stick with the basic part. So we learn these tools here, timeline. We learn about the move tool. Now let's learn about the second tool. It's called track selection forward. It's basically if you take this tool and while you're editing you want more space in the beginning. You said, oh, I wanted some more space because I want to add a clip in the beginning. The one way you could do is you can move this and add something. But what if you have this whole timeline? Are you gonna like do one at a time together? No, you could just select this tool and you just take it all forward. So it's gonna select all of them wherever you want it, right? So because in Premiere Pro what happened here is every time when you move a track, if you don't select this tool, let's say if I want to move this track forward, it's gonna take over this track's place. It's gonna cut this track. So if you see here, it cut my track and made it smaller. And you don't want to do that because if you already edited and everything is good, so you don't want to do that. That's why to select the entire thing, if you want to move the entire thing in the time, you select the second tool called the track select forward or backward. You can do it and you can take it wherever you want it. It will select everything visible. As long as they're not locked or hidden, you can just do everything moving right here. Okay, that is the second tool here. The third tool is the ripple edit. So it's basically for the speeding. So let's talk about the speeding as well in the video. So let's say I have this video here, and if I want to change the speed of my video, slow motion is a thing now. Everyone loves doing videos in slow motion or fast forward. Most of my sports video I edit, I use a lot of speed changes. I call it speed ramping. Not just me, it's just the term. Okay, so don't worry about it. So I use the speed ramping thing a lot, and there are other 3 methods to do it, and in this video I'm going to teach you 2 because the third one is complicated and it's extra level editing. But if you want to learn that too, write in the comments and I promise I will make a video about it. I promise that. Okay, so let's learn those 2 ones. So first one is if you want to change the speed. Let's say my video is working pretty smooth and pretty slow, I want it faster. So what I have to do is I right click, and then I have these all tons and tons of options here. From here, I'm going to look for speed or duration. That's the thing. Now here a small window will pop up. This number 100% here is the 100%, the actual speed. 100% is everything normal. If I increase that number, my video is going to go faster, and if I decrease that number, my video is going to go slower. So let me give you an example. So before I do that, I'm gonna cancel it. I'm gonna make a copy of this thing. So to make a copy of any video or anything in your timeline, you just select that file, right click, and you have options is copy. Or the other options by default, we all know it, Control or Command C, copy it. To paste it, make sure your playhead is outside of the clip, not on the clip. If it's on the clip and if you hit Control V, it will take up the space of that place. So what happens here, the pasting starts from where your timeline, where your playhead is in Premiere Pro. And remember, I told you this V1, V2, that also help you to select where do you want to paste it. Do you want to paste on the timeline 1, or you want to paste on the track 2? Sorry, this is called track. Do you want to paste on track 1, or do you want to paste on track 2? Let me give you 2 examples of pasting here. So let's see, I want to paste on track 1 first. So I'm going to hit Control V. Now it pasted. Now the second one, I want to paste it on track 2. So I'm going to select track 2, hide track 1 and track 2. Control V. You see how it pasted on track 2. So make sure this is where you select where you want to paste it. Now I have 100% playing, pretty decent. On this one, I'm going to change it to higher number. And so right click again. And I'm going to go to speed and duration. And I'm going to place 150 for the tutorial. And click OK. And now if I play this video, you're going to see it's playing faster than this one. And it is also shorter in time because the same amount of video is playing faster, so it's gonna take less time. So let's go ahead and change it one more time. This time I'm gonna make it faster than that. So right click again, come back, speed and duration, and I'm gonna make it 300, pretty fast. Now you see it got shorter than that. Now if I go in the beginning and I play, you see how fast it played? So this is how it worked. Now for this one, I'm gonna make it slower than it was. So it was already very slow. Sorry for that notification. I'm gonna right click again, speed and duration, and I'm gonna change it to 50%. You see it got increased, the length got increased, and it's gonna play slower than the original one. See how slow it is playing? Way slower. And see this one right here. This is the original, and this is the slower one. So this is how you change the speed of your clip in your video. That's one way to change it. I'm gonna delete these 2 for now and come back to the original one. And I'm gonna make a copy of this one again. And the other way to change the speed of your clip is that one of the one, and the other one is you select this tool called Ripple Edit, or you can press R on your control command key. Oh, sorry, on your keyboard. It's the same thing. And this allows you, my nose, no. It's super cold here in America, in Utah, and every now and then I get like that nose pain, really bad pain. It hurts a lot, and sometimes I bleed. I don't know why, but don't worry about it. So let's get back to the Ripple Edit tool or Ripple Stretch tool. What it allows you, if you stretch it, your clip is gonna go slower because you're stretching it, that you're saying played slower. Now you see on the top of this clip here, like a little bit, you see the 57.14%. Same way you change the duration in the right, when you right click and go to speed and duration, you see now you have a different duration, 57.14, because you stretch it. And if I stretch it more, it's gonna go lower. So now it's 50%. So the same way I can slow it down, my clip, or I can make it faster by bringing it closer. Now the same video is gonna play faster. You see that? And I can always check the percentage by right clicking and going back to speed and duration. So it's 312%. That's fast I'm playing this video. Come back to it. So these are the 2 ways you can change speed in Premiere Pro, and they both apply to the entire clip. There is a third method called speed ramping by using keyframing, and that's a very complicated one, and I'm not going to teach you that one in this video because, as I said, it's complicated, but I promise I will make a video about it. Now the tool after that, it's called Slip tool. Don't worry about it that either, because it's a medium level and advanced level editing thing. Then you have a masking tool. Sometime if you want to create a mask and get rid of some of the areas in your videos, you use that. It's also called pen tool or mask tool. It's the same thing. Then you have a rectangle tool. If you want to create a rectangle, like a solid rectangle on your clip, it will be useful in the text tool and everything. Control Z, I don't want it. The hand tool is just to move your timeline if you want to go like, back and forward. So sometimes, let's say you totally zoom in your, when you zoom out, you can see the entire timeline. But if you are totally zoom in, and let's say you are in the first frame, but you want to go forward and you want to go faster, you just drag it with your hand tool and you can go forward in your timeline. Does it make sense? And the last one is a text tool. You can just click on that and select the area you want to do it, and you start typing. I am awesome. Now exclamation mark 1 2 3, I like 3. Now if you see on my timeline, there is a pink something created, that is another visual of text. So it's a layer actually created on text. By default it always goes on top of the whichever is the current video you have it. So that's how it goes. And now the length is, the video will start from the beginning and it will go all the way still sing, and it will end here because the clip ends here. Again, you can shorten it by just dragging it like here, or you can shorten it more. I will teach you more about text in the coming minutes in the same video, but for now let's understand this part. Come back to the move tool. I'm going to delete the text tool for now, so I will teach you again. Control Command or S to save the project. So far we have learned a lot of things, lot of basic thing in Premiere Pro. Now what if I want to make some changes? So let's say I have this view clip, I have one video here, now I have this second video here, and if I come here, I selected the amount I wanted, this one, and now I'm going to play this video. But this video also has an audio, like at the bottom you can see the audio, the graph, audio graph, let's call it for now. And if I play it, so first thing, I don't want this tall long video, I want a shorter one. So I want it, let's say I want to come here. I want this video to start from here when I see this, the Museum of the Future building. So I'm gonna just click on that and drag it and trim it out, and then drag this entire clip all the way back to match, to fill the gap. Okay, now I play, this goes here, and I want it start here, and I want this video to end here. Maybe I want this video to maybe start here actually, so I'm gonna drag it more. I don't want it. As I said, there are two ways to edit. This is the better way, or you can use the razor tool. And then I'm gonna come here, and I wanted this to end right here before I see this bus window. Let's say I want to end it here. I can again drag it, or I can take my razor tool, come here and delete, cut, hit, delete, cut, hit, delete, Control S. But what if I don't want this audio? What if I don't want the audio? So let's learn about how the audio works. As I said, we drag and drop all the videos here on the top, in the video channel and the audio channel here. By default, every video comes with the audio, unless your camera does not record in audio, but by default it comes. So if I don't want it, this audio, if I want to get rid of it, I cannot select it. Every time I try to select this, it's selecting both. So what I have to do, I have to unlink them. Okay, so I right click on that and I go here, and there is this panel called option called Unlink. Okay, so now if I select, they are two separate entities, two separate clip. Okay, that's how it works. To reduce the audio, there are two ways. One, I can just hit the audio channel and I hit the delete and I get rid of it. Now I don't have audio at all. So if I play it, no audio will be played. Okay, but what if I don't want to get rid of it, but instead I want the volume to be lower, not totally gone? So I'm gonna press Ctrl Z. Now I have this here. You see there is a line in the middle. Okay, I can make it zoom in this area by doing this. You see this? Now I can see the bigger picture. There is a line here. That line is the audio level line. It's usually by default 0, like a decibel 0. And if I go up, you see the decibel at the bottom, it's going higher. Now my audio will play higher. Here on the right corner channel, I can see the audio level. So let's go from the beginning. You see, now it's hitting the red. That means it's way higher than the human listening capacity. And if I go low, in the minus, let's say I'm in minus 30. Now the audio level is, I can see it's right here. It's super low. So that's one way of changing the audio volume. So let's go and keep it about minus 12 for this video, so that I can hear it but not so much. You see that? It is always recommended to make sure this audio channel, when you're playing, it is below minus 12 always. The moment it crosses minus 12 and goes above, it turns orange and red. It's not good for hearing, human hearing. Okay, this is going to be your output audio level. So I think for this one is fine because it's going to be a background music. I'm gonna make it short again. So I change the volume this way. The other way to change volume in your audio is right click again, and you can see this says audio gain, and you click on that and you have this how much decibel value you want to change it. If you go in the minus, it's gonna change it lower. If you're gonna just type a number in the plus sign, it's gonna make it higher. So let's say if I wanted this audio level to be increased by 10 decibels, so I hit 10 and I hit OK, and you see this went up. And if I play the audio, you see this also is going up. Same way, if I click right and audio channel, and this time I want to go minus 10 because I want to go back to the original amount which I kept it, and I hit OK, and now it's going to go back to where it was. Got it? There are two ways to change the audio level. You can also get rid of that by just hitting delete button. Now what if I want to add a music for my video in the background? The simplest way is find the music which you already imported here in your import file. Where is my Teach Premiere Pro? Sorry, this was the video I imported. Now what I'm going to do is just drag and drop it in the bottom one. I don't want to do it on top of this layer because if I do it, it will take away their space and they will disappear. It basically will delete and replace. I don't want to do that, so Control Z, I want to do it at the bottom. Now I have this video and an audio, and I play it. But if you see here, my music level is way high because it's hitting the red. You see it was hitting the red, so I'm gonna reduce this one a little bit, probably minus 7. Well, it's still too much. A little bit more. I think this is fine. Minus 12 and around is fine. A little bit orange is fine. I can exactly same way the way I trim my video, I can trim my audio. Let's say I want this audio to play. For now, I'll keep it long because I don't know how long my video is going to be. So let's add some more videos to our timeline. Now I have this one. Now there is another way to, instead of trimming in your R2 in your timeline, you can actually trim your video before you even bring it into your timeline. And that way you do it in your preview. That is the purpose of this preview. So let's say I'm playing this video from the beginning, and let's say it's playing. Let's say I want this part. Let's say I want to include this part. So you have these two brackets. These are called input and output bracket, in and out bracket. So let's say I want to select in from here. So you see the entire area got grayed from here. So anything after this point is selected. Okay. Then I'm gonna play again. And I say that's it. That much I want to shot. Then I put the out. So now you see this much area got selected. That's a gray. And then I have two options here. I can either directly drag the clip and bring it into my timeline. If I do that, it will come with the audio. You see in the below, there is an audio channel. But if I don't want the audio, if I just want the video, you see here it says drag video only. I'm gonna drag video only. So now it's gonna just drag the video for me. So there is no audio channel for this video. It's the same thing. I just drag it 2 times. Or if I just want my audio, in some time you just want the audio but not the video. So I can just drag audio only and bring it here. You see how these 3 things work? So that is the purpose of this preview window. You must be thinking like, well, I already have this preview here in the L2. Why do I have another L1 to preview? Well, so that you can make the selection from there. Yeah, they did a good job in deciding. So I'm going to get rid of the one with the audio, and I'm also get rid of the audio. And I'm going to bring this here. Now I have this audio. Let's play it. Now I want to make it a little bit slower because I think this is good, but I want to make it a little slower like that, you know. I want to make it slow motion. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim it into 3 parts. I'm going to start with slow, and this much I'm gonna make it fast, sorry, and this one I'm gonna make it slow again. Okay, so let's bring this here. Now to do that, I'm going to go to this one first. Let's make this away from it first. I'm gonna go this one first, right click, and I'm going to make the speed, let's say, is 50%. This is my slow motion, the half of the clip. Now this part I want it faster to create that motion. I'm gonna go to this one, right click, speed and duration, I'm gonna make it 200%. So you see it got smaller, and I'm gonna come back to this one again and make it 50% again. So slow, fast, slow. So the whole video would look like this. You get it? So this is how you can do it: slow, fast, slow. This is the speed thing again. I know we were on the music and the audio, but this is how you work it. So I have the videos and the videos, and now I'm gonna add one more video here. Let's say from here I'm gonna select the cyclist, come here, I'm gonna make my input, and I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna make my output, and I bring this video here. I just want the video, and I want the entire thing to be just slow motion. I don't care about it. So let's make it 50% right now. Now let's say this is what I selected. This is the entire thing of my videos. I don't want the video to be longer than that. This is my last video. This ends here. But my audio is way longer. My audio is all the way up till 1 minute, 15 second, 23 frames. I don't want that much. I want only this much, which is 19 second, 2 frame. So what I'll do is I'll come to my last video and I bring my playhead here. I can use the blade tool and just delete it. Move tool, hit, delete. Now hit Control and Command save. Hit this first frame button. It will go back to first frame, and I can play and preview how it looks. Looks good, huh? So this is basically, I created my simple video right here. Now, after creating this basic timeline, let's learn how to adjust other thing in the visual of this video. For example, if I want to rotate my file, or if I want to zoom in or zoom out or change the opacity, all those things, how do you do that? Well, you select the clip you want to work on. So let's say I want to work on this clip. Then you come back to your L1. So L1 has more features than just previewing. So one was preview. You see it says source preview. That was it was showing us. Right next to it you have this option called effect control. If you don't see effect control, you're going to go to Windows on top and make sure your effect control is checked. Okay, once you have that, you're going to select the video you want to work on. So this video, go to effect control. Now you have all these awesome numbers here, a lot of number. It's like an airplane or rocket science thing, but don't worry about it, it's not rocket science. It's the easiest thing in the world. The first, in the motion tab, if they are all closed like that, all you have to do is click on this drop down arrow and it will open for you, and you have more options. In the motion, you will change the position, scale, opacity, and the rotations of a video. For example, let's say this is my video and I want it a little bit zoom. I don't want it to look like that. So this is 100%. Again, 100% is everything normal the way you brought it. So I'm going to increase it. Now if I do that, you see how it's zooming. By default, it zooms in the center of the video. You can see there is a blue circle right here. That is for the center location. That's where it's zooming. But when you zoom in, you're like, well, I zoom in, but I don't want this thing to cut out. Then you have a position. So then this is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. I sometimes get confused, x-axis, y-axis. So let's say I want the position on x-axis a little bit here, and on the y-axis I want the position a little bit here. So I want the video to look like this. This is my output area. Okay, now I play it. You see it zoomed in. Now I'm seeing this part of the video. I don't see anything outside. So again, I'm on the fit. Anything outside of this square, I still have a video. You can see by the blue line, my video is outside of the frame, but I'm only seeing this much. Okay, so that's how you do it. So I have this much zoom in. Now on this one also, let's say I want to zoom in this also a little bit. So I can zoom in and change it here. Let's say I want, this is how it should look like, or maybe like that. No. So whenever you zoom, like whenever you change the position or zoom out, you see this black area. You don't want to leave that black area because this is part of your output screen. And if you export or render any video with the black, it will look like that. Basically, think about this. This is how your video is going to look like. So you don't want to leave that. So I'm going to bring it back and close that black. And this is how I want it. So first video, zoom in. The second video, zoom in like that. Let's say I want to rotate this one. I like it the way it is, but I want it a little bit rotation. So I have a rotation tool here. I can rotate. Now, when I rotate it, I'm going to lose this area. So I have to zoom in a little bit like that. I mean, I could do that if I want to, or I can just change the rotation by clicking on this reset button. So any changes you make, they have this reset button. You click on the reset, it comes back to that. And I want to come back to it. I don't want to rotate this one. It was good. I'll leave it like that. I'm going to come to the next video. Maybe this one I can rotate. I can rotate myself. Let's say I zoom in this here, and I'm going to rotate myself. Over here. Now let's see how it plays. Okay, this is how I rotate, and I want this one a little bit zoom in more to create that slow sequence. So this is how these three things work in the motion: scale, positions, and rotations. Okay, these are the only three major features I have. So let's see this video again. Looks good, huh? Now you can see the quality was looking bad when I was playing because I kept the quality low. That's why it was doing it. So that's how it goes. Control and Command S. Now come back to the another video. On this video, after motion, you have a anchor point, anti-flicker, and all those things. Don't worry about it. Again, it's not for the basic one. We'll come to the opacity one. Click on the opacity icon, and you have this opacity. These are some of the masking tools. We will not use those yet in this class. Again, you first want to be a beginner editor, then the intermediate and the advanced level editor. Okay, but we will learn about this opacity. So opacity, as the word, I don't know if you know or don't know the meaning of the opacity. It means the visibility of a clip in your video, of a clip or anything visual you have. The visibility, the amount of visibility. Again, come back to the 100% means it's 100%. It's fully visible. You can change it. So for example, in this video, if I change my visibility to down, I can just drag the number to left and right, 50%. Now you see the visibility gone down. You don't understand this as of now because below anything of this clip is black. So it's basically looking like reducing the brightness. But if I bring another video below it, let's say I bring the video of this one. Okay, let's say I bring this video. Oh, that video has nothing. Let's say I bring my drone video again. So I'm going to select this much and half here. I'm going to drag and drop it here. I'm going to stretch it to make sure that it matches the length. Otherwise, I will have a black. Now you understand how it looks like. Come back to effect control, select the top clip. The visibility is 100%. That basically means I'm showing this video. I want to see this video. If I change the visibility of this video to 0, then I'm going to see the clip below it. And if I keep the half, which is 50%, then I'm going to see half of both. I'm seeing the half on the top, and the bottom one, I'm seeing the full one. So now this is how it's going to look like. You see that? So if you want to create that double exposure film in your video, you can do that. This is how it looks like. So for now, it's kind of look kind of bad. So I'm going to make it 100% here and delete this one, or it doesn't matter. But I'm going to come back to this video and I'm going to make a copy of this video here, and I'm going to change the visibility of this video, and I'm going to play this video a little bit slower after the time, so just to create that weird visibility effect. So I'm gonna change the opacity and everything to 0 and rotation to 0. So just how this is the original video was, and I'm going to change the opacity of this one to, let's say, 30%. So I'm going to see both videos now. So if I play, I'm going to see that double exposure thing. You see that? I'm seeing that double exposure. Let me change the playback resolution. I'm going to change it to full so that we can see the full resolution video both. You see that? Do you see that? I was playing two videos at the same time and changing the opacity. This is how the opacity works in Premiere Pro or in any editing software. Effect controls is, it controls the effect. In simple word, it controls everything about the visual or the audio of your thing. It controls everything in simple word. Now we have covered that part. We have covered a lot of things. Now let's understand how to add text into your video. Remember, I touch base a little bit. The easiest way again to add a text, let's say I want to add a text in the beginning here. I click on the text tool. This is a T, and wherever I wanted the text, I can just click the area and start typing. So let's say I want it here. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna type is drone shot. Now you see, as soon as I did that, there is a new layer created. I explained it before as well, and that layer is for the text. Okay, I have this text here. I can drag it to however I want as a length, because this is only till here. This is the text, so I want it only this much. Now after doing that, click on the text layer. I can come back to control, effect control again. Make sure I'm on effect control on the top, and I can change the position, y-axis, x-axis. I can change the size. Let's make it big and right click it in the center here. I can also change a lot of things. So for now, I'm gonna come down here. I can do the rotations again, but here if you see this layer, this tiny option which says text drone shot, that basically telling me this is what I have it. All I have to do is click on this arrow next to it. I have more options. I can select the font I want it. So let's say I want the font as this. You see how it's changing the font? I want to use this one. You see, this is my font. I can select where I want it. If I want it in the center alignment, basically I can select the size again from here, how big or small I want it. I can select the font style. For this one, it only has a italic, but if you have more, I can make all capital if I want it. So if I click on this one, double T cap, it's gonna make all capital. I can make it bold. I can make it italic. I'm gonna get rid of those things. I like the all capital. I can make each capital, like first letter capital, and the rest small, like capital and small. This is how it's gonna do that. I can scroll down more. In the fill, I can select the color I want it. So at this moment, it's just white. I'm gonna click on that and make it, let's say, red. Now see, it's red. Or I can go back. I can bring it wherever I want it. I can also use this pen tool and select the color I want it from my footage, whatever color I want it. I can also bring it outside of my window and pick any color I want it. Oops, randomly I picked the wrong one. Let's pick this one. Magenta. Looks beautiful, huh? Click OK. I can create a stroke if I want on my on the text. So hit the stroke. By default, it's unchecked. So hit on that. Stroke is the outer layer. By default is white. I can again change that to black, to red, to blue, whichever I want it. You see that? I'm gonna keep it white so that it's more visible, and hit OK. I have a background. If I want to add a background to my text, I can do that. Background, want to create like a solid background, one color background, and I can click on this and select the color I want it for the background. Let's say I'm gonna take a black background. Hit OK. Now you can see the background a little bit, but it's not enough because the opacity is only 75%. The visibility is only 75%. I'm gonna change it all the way to 100%. Now you can see the black background. I can increase the size of my black background, so make it bigger. So I go, you can see that. I can decrease it. I can make the corner of the background smoother if I wanted to. So let's make the corner more like a round shape. It's like a drone shot. I can do more. I can add more if I want. I can add shadow to my text. So what is a shadow? Shadow is different than the background. So let's say I don't want a background for now. I'm just unchecking. I'm going to click on shadow. I'm going to select what color. Shadows are usually black. I'm going to take the shadow black, opacity 100%. You don't see much because you need to change the direction. So shadow falls in different directions, and this is the shadow direction slider. So you can see the shadow now on my text. There you go, buddy. How far you want it from the text. I want it a little bit far here, somewhere around. You can also change the size of the shadow. Keep it small, and the feather of the shadow, like how soft or hard you want it. So I'm going to keep it like a soft, something like that. Now you can see there is a shadow and everything in my text. Okay, when you click the background and shadow both, you won't see. You have to select one of the two because it doesn't matter. Or you can select the background and select the color white and see how it looks. Now you have it, the white background, there is shadow on the background, and there is a drone, there is a stroke, and there is a text, everything. You have it everything here. You get the transform effect if you want to make changes. It's like the same motion, same thing, you can do it. Okay, the size and everything right here. So don't worry about it. So this is how it works on the text. This is how you can add a text. Once you're done, make sure you select this move tool again, because if you have this selected again, anywhere you will click, it will create another text layer, and you don't want to do that. So you get here, I have my text and it looks pretty good. Drone shot, but I think it's too much. I'm going to select my layer again, and I'm going to make it smaller. The whole thing, I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to bring it down to here, somewhere here. Okay, that looks better than what I had. It was covering the entire tower. Like, that's the main feature in the video. You don't want to get rid of that. Now let's create another text. I'm going to just fast forward. For this one, I'm going to just create another text here. Text tool. Let's type the amazing building. Now by default, what Premiere Pro does, it takes your last setting and all the thing from the last editing and use it as a reference and create the same way. Move tool again. I'm gonna come back and cut it here in the beginning and hit Z. This time I'm not gonna get rid of this part because I can always reuse it. That's a really good thing. And I'm gonna change this setting again below. And this time I'm going to change the color of my text, which is magenta, to maybe yellow. You don't see yellow on the blue. I'm gonna change it to black. And I'm gonna change my stroke to, what do I do? Black. I'm gonna change my text color to white. So I have a white background. Look at that. This looks beautiful, huh? Simplicity is the beauty, in case if you don't know. Now I have this thing, because I cut this text in the middle, whatever changes I made only on this file. Everything here is going to be same as I left it before cutting. So that's why I'm going to come back here, take my text tool again, double click on this text again, and I'm going to press Control or Command A to make this selection of all, and I'm going to type again something else. I'm going to type me, oh, Sami, 3 exclamation mark, and I'm gonna go back to move tool and move it down here. Okay, this time I'm going to go to the text again, make sure text me awesome is here, click on the arrow, and I'm going to select the color back, different color. Let's say, whoa, yellow. This time I'm gonna take yellow. For the stroke, I'm gonna take black so that yellow black goes good. And for the background, I'm gonna select green. Let's see. Whoa, yeah. Control S, Command S, and I'm going to this time extend this clip all the way till it matches the end of the clip. So I have this whole thing here. Now I'm going to change this all the way to top this time. So you can position wherever you want it, and smaller the size. just for fun, you know. So this is how you do the texting. Hit the thing. By the way, I can also do the fun thing is like I can come back here and I can make a choppiness, like cut this clip half off, exactly the same point where my video clip ends, you know, different clip. And what I'm going to do is I can change the position of different clip. I can treat them as a separate clip, or even though it was the same. So I'll keep the top one here, and then when the video comes here, I will make it come maybe pop here. And when the video come here, let's say I'm gonna make it look here. So now this is considered as a 3 text layer. You see that? So you can also do that with your text tool. Now everything is good. You have a audio, you have a text, you have a music, everything is good. Now let's see how our video looks like so far, and see, it's a 19 second, not too big. Your first video has been created. So that's a pretty good video for first time, and I'll come back to the first frame. Now let's understand how to do the last part of video editing, which is color correction. Because all these videos are shot differently, and color correction makes your video look better than what it is. For example, what I'm talking to you, this is how it looks without color correction, and this is how it looks with color correction and color grading. I will not teach you color grading. It's a high level of editing things, but I will teach you how to do the color correction. And the last part is how to export the video for the right format. If you are posting for the YouTube or for Instagram, what is the best exporting setting for that? Okay, so 2 things left. Let's go to do the color correction for now. Remember in the beginning, I told you Premiere Pro has 4 windows, L1, L2, R1, R2, but you can create more. You can also adjust them. For example, in the beginning, I told you you can adjust the size of any file. You can also remove anything and put it somewhere else. For example, let's say I have this effect control and I don't want my effect control in the top. I wanted this effect control to be here. So I can just take it from the holding and I can just drag it. You see the magenta, the blue color, that's where it's going to be. If I drag it, now I have my effect control here. So I have preview here, R2, then effect control here. I can also do that. Or I can take it back and I bring it back where it was. So I have it right here and bring it here. Does it look good? And same goes to here. If I don't want that Premiere Pro project to be here, I can bring it this also here, anywhere I want it, and I can drag and drop it. Just leave it here for now because this is the best place for it. The default is actually one of the best way to do it. Before going into the color correction part, we have to add some transitions to our video. I literally forgot about that. So let's do the basic transitions. Premiere Pro has a lot of inbuilt transitions in your computer, in your software, and it comes free with the Premiere Pro. So you don't have to buy anything. So let's say I want to start my video with the transitions of slowly like a revealing the video instead of directly starting from the video. So make sure you click on this L2, which is the lower bottom one, and you scroll until you see this option called effect. If you don't see the effect, you're going to go to Windows, on the top window, and make sure effect is checked. So this is effect, and the top one was effect control. So all the effect you apply, you can control here on L1. So make sure you find this effect. If you already checked, if you see on the window it is checked but you still don't find it, so here you can see this 2 arrow. Click on that, it will give you options to everything and you can select the effect. And now here, if you come down at the bottom, you see there's an option called video transitions. Okay, you have a lot of video effect, audio transition, and a lot of things. For now, let's learn only video transitions. So click on the drop down arrow and open, and there are different categories: dissolve categories, immersive categories, Irish, obsolete, page peel, slides, wipe, zoom, all different categories. Let's start with the basic one, dissolve. So I'm going to click on the dissolve category and the arrow. Whenever there is an arrow, that means there are more items within that thing. That means it's like a folder and there are more items within that thing. So click on this arrow and now you have these options. Let's say start with the I wanted the black one, the deep black. I wanted the video to start with the black and then slowly start showing what I have. So I'm gonna hold this one and drag and drop it in the beginning of my clip. You see, when I do that, my whole thing went dark and now slowly it will reveal. You see this area here, so 0 and all the way till here it's gonna go 100%. So let's see. See that? That's how it works. Okay, I'm going to do this same on my text because I don't want my text to show while video is visible or not visible. So I'm going to do and drag it. So I have a same parameter. So now let's see. See that? Now I have this first transition. The second transition here, I wanted a simple dissolve, like a one fading, the other coming in. So I'm going to hold this one and drag and drop in the middle of both. Okay. And I'm going to do the same with my text as well in the middle of both. So now let's see how it goes. Pretty cool, huh? So this is how you can add transitions. I'm going to do more to these one as well. Okay. Now before that, I have these two clips and I want a transition to be happening to both of them from here to here. The best way to do it, I'm going to make them as one file. And this is called nesting in Premiere Pro. Whenever you have a multiple file you want to nest it, like make it as one combined folder, you can do it. So make sure you select this one, press Control or Shift on your computer and select the bottom one. Sorry, press Shift key and select the bottom one, right click, and there is this option called Nest. You're going to click OK. You're going to click OK if you don't want to name it. Now it looks like a one file. You see that? They're together. If you double click it, you can open them in a separate timeline and you can make any changes if you want. You can close it, come back to your file where you were editing your actual timeline. Now you have one. Let's say this time I want to apply the slide transition. So I have 4 options in slide. I'm going to take the slide and I'm going to drag and drop it in the middle. Whenever you nest a file, it usually does not allow you to drag and drop in the middle most of the time. So all you have to do is click on the transitions, not the clip, on the transition. So make sure it's big enough so that you can see it and click on the transitions. When the transition is clicked, in the effect control, you will see this option called A and B and the duration and everything. Again, remember I said effect control is something where you can control anything. We don't do much here. We'll just go to the alignment. You see it says start at the cut. Basically, it is starting at the cut here. We want it to be in the center. So click on this arrow and select center. So now it's in the center for both. If I want to make it start at cut, end at the cut, so it's going to start from here. So if I click on that, so now it moved here. The transition moved here. But again, as I said, I want it in the center. So now this is what I have it. Let's play. You see that? Now what happened here is I don't have anything in the middle here, so that's what it's doing it. So I'm gonna take it back actually at the front. You see that? So Premiere Pro was actually suggesting something right. That's the problem when you nest, is like you lose something. Unless you have both of the file nested, then it matches. Okay, this is a complicated thing, but it's okay. We got this here. Now let's do something for the text as well. I mean, or I can leave it, just is fine. Now you have a text here. This is fine. I don't want to add any transitions here. No transition, no transition. My last transition I'm gonna add here to the cycle. I don't want this the drone shot, so I'm gonna get rid of that. And I'm gonna bring this cycle the below so that I can add a transition in between. You can add transition when they are like in the same layer. If they are above and below, then it's hard to add transition. So make sure they are in the same layer. So same track. What I'm going to do this time, let's say I do the whip or wipe effect. Now the wipe is too complicated. Let's do the dissolve white this time. I really like white dissolve. Let's do the white dissolve in the center. Now it's gonna do the white dissolve in between. Wait, sorry, I picked the wrong one. Sorry, deep deep white, sorry, deep to white. Looks cool, huh? And then at the end, I want my video all the way here to go black. So deep to black. So I start with the black, I end with the black. So let's go and hit the first clip again. Now here. This looks good, huh? But there is only one catch here. If I end my video, you can see the music is not ending good. The music ends like abrupt. It's like just random ad. Look at that. You see that? It's like a random ending. So let's fix that part. We're going to make the music dissolve with this black, okay? So to do that, again, we are in the same effect. Remember, we have our video transitions. We also have our audio transitions. So you're going to click on audio transition track, and then you have this cross fade. You're going to use this exponential fade for this one, okay? So you drag it. By default, it's going to be a different frame because I kept it mine 2 frames. You can change it however you like it, but you can always increase or decrease the time. So I'm going to click on this thing. Make sure click on the transition. And I'm going to drag it all the way to the beginning to match this to this transition of the video. And now let's see how it goes. You see that how slowly it fades instead of really bad. Let's play it again. So it's good. Let's make it a little bit longer because audio takes longer time to go down. This is better, right? Now you're good with that. So now your entire timeline is almost ready with video, audio, text, and everything. One of the last thing left is the color correction, as I said. To do the color correction, I'm going to hide entire text layer because I think it's in the middle. And so let's click on this eye icon. Remember that eye icon? We click on that and we get rid of that. It's not gone, it's just hidden. So let's say we're gonna add some color changes to this video, okay? To do that, the basic way is, again, go to window. This time look for Lumetri color. This option, Lumetri color. Click on that. A new window will pop up on the right side. Most default is on the right side. You can change it again wherever you want it. So click on this and drag it and drop it wherever you want it. Keeping on the right is the best. I like it. It's easy so that I can see what's happening. Now click on the clip you want to edit and make sure your playhead is also on the same particular clip which you are editing. Otherwise it's confusing, right? So click on that. Now first you have this temperature selection to change the mood, the lightings, the color of the lighting. If I go temperature high, it's gonna go orange. If we're gonna go down, it's gonna go more like a snowy day. This is not a color correction video. The whole video will be different. So, but these are the parameter you make changes. Make it more magenta, make it more green. This is how you do it. Okay. Double click, bring back to 0. I'm gonna make it a little bit warm. Increase the exposure, basically the brightness. Increase the contrast, and I'm going to increase the saturation for just the basic of this color. I'm going to increase shadow to make it look brighter, and I'm going to decrease the highlight to bring back some detail and decrease some dark. That's it. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the setting of this thing and I'm going to apply to the other clip. To do that, I'm going to right click and copy. So every time you copy on Premiere Pro, it copies the file as well as all the effect applied on that. So on this one, I applied color correction and many other things, like for example, positioning. Now I'm going to come back to this one and I'm going to paste that color correction on this one. To do that, if I click on that and I come to Lumetri color, you see everything is 0 here because I haven't changed anything. That's why I'm going to just apply the old one. So I'm going to right click, and this time I'm going to click on paste attributes. It's basically all the setting from the previous clip. I'm going to click on that and it allowed me to select what I want to paste. There is a motion, which is basically the location and size. I don't want to do that. I just want to paste the Lumetri color. So I'm going to check Lumetri color. The rest I will leave it unchecked. Nothing else. And I'm going to click OK. Now you see it applied and this setting is changed here. I'm going to reduce the contrast here, a little bit of this, and I'm going to reduce this. You see how it's changing and make it more magentic. Okay, this is how it looks like. I can always click on this FX on the top to see before and after. This is before, this is after. Looks much better, huh? Control Command S, and you can do the same for the other videos. For this one, I'm going to come back to this one first and make some changes. And I can also click auto button and it will automatically change all the setting for me. So let's see how the auto looks. I didn't do much. Let's increase the exposure and the white, decrease the shadow, the black, the highlight. No, I'm going to increase the highlight, exposure, and I'm going to increase some saturation. I'm going to right click and I'm going to copy the setting. Then I'm going to come back to this one and apply it to the entire folder. So right click, paste, and Lumetri color pasted, hit OK. Now it pasted. So they're matching the color because it's the same scene and so it should have a same color, right? So pasting is the best option. Then this one looks different because look at this and look at that. So I'm going to right click again, paste the Lumetri attributes. Now you have the same color throughout the clip, 1, 2, and the 3. This one I can either paste or I can make some changes. First thing, I have to change the setting. I'm going to make zoom a little bit and I'm going to bring it down. So just the bike is in the feature. I'm going to increase the temperature, make it warm. Saturation, I can go all the way to black and white if I decrease the saturation to 100%. You can see the saturation. I'm going to keep it a little bit somewhere here. Increase the exposure. Highlight decrease, contrast increase. I decrease shadow this time to make it more bright, and I'm going to decrease more saturation to create that depth in the field and the color contrast. Now hit Control Command S. Now I can get rid of this if I don't want to. Just click on this sandwich icon, like 3 layer, and there is called close panel. So I can just close it and that is gone. I can always bring it back by window, Lumetri color. Okay. Now let's come back to the first one. Control Command S. Now you have all the video clip ready. You can just take your playhead faster and see how it looks like. Now you have everything ready. So congratulations, you just made your first video in Premiere Pro doing the basic editing and it looks awesome. All you have to do is now render it, export it as a one video because this is not a one video yet. It is just the project. Okay, so how do you do that? Simply make sure your file is good. You're looking everything good. Make sure this is unchecked because you want your text to be visible. So click on that. So now your text is back, right? And now let's go ahead and on the left top corner, there is an option called export. You see that? Click on that export and it will open a new window for you. This is where you make some basic changes, basic setting for the export, the right setting. Okay. Welcome back to the edit again. We'll come back here. That's one way to export. The second way to export is again, click on File and the option says Export and export media. Of course, it's a media. It will bring you back to the same thing. Come back to edit again. The third way to export is on the top right top corner. It says Quick Export. Quick Export is good when you already know your setting. You have saved it previously, because it opens a very small window like that. It doesn't give you the every single parameter to make changes. So we're not going to use the quick export. We're going to use the export option from here. Now the first thing you're going to do is name whatever you want to name your video. So I'm going to name my video awesome, awesome first video. Now where do you want to save? After name, where do you want to save the final video? Okay. So I'm going to click OK. I have my previous selection. I don't want it there. I'm going to go to my desktop and the same folder basic of Premiere Pro. I'm going to select that and I'm going to create a new folder again within that folder just to make sure. Click OK. I'm going to name it final video. And I'll tell you in a minute why this is important, and create OK and save. So I've selected the name. I've selected where I want to save it. Now let's select the quality. How good quality you want it. So click on that. You have these basic options here. You can go to high quality 1080p, which is HD. You can go 4K, which is 2160 4K, and you can go the wide, blah 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 blah. Then you have a more called match the sequence preview setting. It's basically your sequence setting. It's going to match with your sequence preview setting. You don't want that either. If you don't see the options called YouTube 1080p, it is one of the best options if you're planning to post your video on YouTube. If you don't have a 1080p YouTube, you don't see it in your computer, you're going to scroll down and select more preset and wait for a second after clicking, and from here you can search it directly YouTube. YouTube 1080p full HD. You can go 4K if you want to, but again it's going to be a big file with a lot of you would need a lot of storage for that. If you don't have that much, then it's going to be a challenging one. Okay, so 1080p again, and once you select one of this file, the next time what it's going to do, it will show you in the preview because it assumes that you want to use it same again. You have all those things right. The format, in the format, make sure you select H264. It is the most standard video format. You don't want to go anything else. H.264, the most important, the most common one. Okay, select on that. Make sure the audio is checked, the video is checked because you're rendering audio and video both. Effects are checked, the metadata is checked. Metadata is like all the information about the video. You want it checked, unless you don't want the information. Come back to the video again, there is a drop down arrow. Remember, whenever there is an arrow, means it's a folder, it has more thing. Click on that, and the frame size, again, if you select YouTube, you should have a 1920 by 1080. In case if you don't have it, make sure you select full HD 1920 by 1080. It won't let you change the frame rate at this moment. You can change it if you want to, but just leave it the way it is. Everything is fine, aspect ratio, everything. Click on more, and here there are two major changes you have to make it to make sure with the lowest file you get the maximum quality. Okay, so come back here and select on this called render at maximum depth. So render at maximum depth is basically you're gonna get this really good depth in your video, otherwise it's gonna look flat. So click on check on that and use maximum render quality. So 1080p, maximum quality of 1080p, you're gonna get it. So this is how it's gonna go. Now from the source in the range, make sure you select the entire source, not in and out. Basically means the entire timeline. You are not rendering a portion of your video, the entire video you want to render. This is scale to fit is good, everything is fine. Now you're going to hit export on your computer, and let's wait for this thing to go 100% based on the speed of your computer. This is how it's gonna work. If your computer is fast like mine, it's gonna go faster. If your computer is slow, then go ahead, grab a coffee, eat some Chick-fil-A or any other thing you like to eat, McDonald's, and come back. When you have this blue option, like there was this blue thing came, ready to go, like that, your video was exported successfully. You'll get these options, close it. Now you can go to your Premiere Pro. So minimize Premiere Pro, come back to your folder where you saved it, and you have this folder and final video. See, this is why I created this another folder for final video, because if I just export it here, it will be somewhere here with this video. Sometimes when you have a lot of videos, like hundreds of them, it's confusing to find, and you don't want to save it in the PP because this is for the project. And as you work more and more in Premiere Pro, it's gonna create more and more folder for you as a backup file to save it. And this is your actual file. Next time when you double click on this, it will open your project from the time you last opened and saved. Okay, now let's get back to here, the final video. Open it, double click, and this is the video. Let's watch and let's see how it looks. Looks pretty good. I hope you also created your first ever video using Premiere Pro, and I hope you understood the tutorial. And if there was anything you did not understand, if it was a little bit confusing, any part you need help more with, just let me know right in the comment section. I reply to everyone because it's a community, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it did something good for you. If it did, please give a thumbs up and share with your friend who is planning to learn Premiere Pro or just trying to get into the video editing software world. So just go ahead and do that for me. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe and show your love and support, and I will try my best to make more videos like that, more tutorial on single specific topic. I hope you enjoyed this video again, and I will see you again in the next one. Until then, take care, bye bye, and ciao.